The 40-hour work week is so embedded in modern society that it's easy to forget it wasn't always there. It's the product of a long, hard-fought battle for workers' rights, a compromise between productivity and quality of life, and a reflection of societal values. But, as the world continues to evolve, so too does the question, is the 40-hour work week still serving us, or has it outlived its purpose? To understand how the 40-hour work week came to be, we need to go back to the Industrial Revolution. In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, factories were economic engines of industrialized nations. Workers often endured grueling shifts that stretched 10, 12, or even 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. These conditions were not only exhausting but dangerous, with little regard for worker safety or well-being. For many, life revolved around survival, with little time for family, education, or personal growth. The labor movement emerged in response to these harsh conditions. Workers began organizing, demanding shorter hours and better pay. A pivotal moment came in 1866 when the National Labor Union in the United States called for an 8-hour workday. Their slogan, 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, and 8 hours for what we will, captured the vision of a more balanced life. Though the movement faced resistance, it laid the groundwork for future reforms. The fight gained momentum in the late 19th century. In 1886, the Haymark Affair in Chicago, an event that began as a peaceful rally for the 8-hour workday and ended in violence, became a symbol of the labor struggle. By the early 20th century, pressure from unions and public advocacy was growing, and some companies began to adapt shorter hours to improve productivity and morale. A major breakthrough came in 1926 when Henry Ford, a founder of the Ford Motor Company, implemented a 5-day, 40-hour work week for his employees. Ford wasn't just acting out of goodwill. He believed shorter hours would lead to happier, more efficient workers and create more consumers for his products. His experiment proved successful and set a precedent for other industries. The Great Depression of the 1930s further accelerated this shift. With unemployment skyrocketing, reducing hours was seen as a way to spread work across more people. In 1938, the U.S. Congress passed the Fair Labor Standards Act, which established the 40-hour work week as the national standard and required overtime pay for additional hours. This legislation marked the culmination of decades of labor activism and set the stage for the modern workplace. For much of the 20th century, the 40-hour work week was seen as a triumph. It offered a balance between productivity and leisure, a structure that allowed workers to earn a living while still having time for their family, hobbies, and rest. But as economies shifted from industrial to service-based and technological advancements transformed work, cracks in this model began to appear. One issue is that the 40-hour work week often fails to account for the changing nature of work. In an era of constant connectivity where emails, messages, and tasks follow us home, the boundaries between work and life have blurred. Many workers find themselves putting in unpaid, invisible hours, whether answering emails late at night or taking calls on weekends. The result of this is burnout, stress, and a sense that work is creeping into every corner of life. Moreover, the 40-hour work week does not fit into every industry or individual. In fact, overwork can lead to diminishing returns as tired and stressed workers make more mistakes and become less creative. Countries like Sweden and Iceland have experimented with shorter work weeks such as the 30 or 35-hour model, often finding that workers are happier and more productive with less time in the office. Another challenge is that the 40-hour standard assumes a traditional single-earner household. But in today's world, many families rely on dual incomes, and the demands of modern life, childcare, commuting, elder care, make the rigid structure of the work week feel outdated. Workers are increasingly calling for flexibility, whether that means remote work, staggering hours, or part-time options. At the same time, advances in automation and artificial intelligence are reshaping the conversation about work itself. As machines take over repetitive and time-consuming tasks, there's potential for humans to work less while maintaining or even increasing productivity. Some futurists argue that the 40-hour work week could eventually become obsolete, replaced by a model that prioritizes creativity and collaboration and well-being over sheer hours logged. The debate over the 40-hour work week raises deeper questions about our values as a society. Should work define our lives, or should it be a means to an end, a way to support our passions, relationships, and personal growth? Do we measure success by hours worked, or by the quality of life we achieve? These questions are as relevant today as they were during the labor struggles of the past. In the end, the 40-hour work week represents both progress and limitation. It's a product of its time, born out of the need to protect workers and provide structure in an industrialized world. But as we move further into the 21st century, it's clear that work and life are changing. Perhaps the next great labor movement won't even be about hours at all, but about reimagining the very role of work in human life. The legacy of the 40-hour work week is a reminder that progress is always possible and that the balance between work and life is a struggle worth fighting for.